What's up? It's the junior analyst. Like Bilal Muhammad, the decision has been unanimous. And I am back again with another video. Today, we're going to be breaking down the upcoming fight night card with Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales headlining the fucking Apex. So starting off with Tisha Pennington versus Luana Pinheiro. I'm going to go with Tisha Pennington. I believe that she's got better striking and have faced better competition. And Luana Pinheiro is coming off a 3-fight losing streak. I think Tisha Pennington is going to get it done, probably by decision. Now we move on to the next fight. Park Hyung-sun versus Carlos Hernandez. Park Hyung-sun is an undefeated prospect. I believe that he came in from the road to the UFC or Dana White's Contender Series. I'm not super sure. Got to double check. And then he proceeded to finish his next two opponents in the UFC. Carlos Hernandez is 2-2 in his last 4, losing to the likes of Tatsuro Taira and Rei Saruya. Losing to Taira is not really bad at all, but I really don't rate Rei Saruya. He kind of sucks. He just spams takedowns with no striking. Anyways, now he's facing another girthy Asian guy, which I will be picking Park Hyung-sun to win this fight and bully Carlos Hernandez. From the eye test, he seems to be better everywhere the fight goes, even though he has faced lesser competition. He should probably get this one down by finish. Moving on. Elise Reed versus Denise Gomez. I'm going to go with Denise Gomez. She's more manly, more power, more testosterone. Elise Reed is not a very good fighter, and I don't really know what else to say. Anyways, next. Damn, there's a lot of women's fight in this card. We have Luana Santos, a.k.a. Israel Adesanya. If you know, you know. Going against Tainara Lisboa. This is going to be the first underdog pick for this card. I'm going to go with Tainara Lisboa to win this fight. I know that Luana Santos was touted as this prospect, and don't get me wrong, she does have pretty good skills, but she lost her last fight against Casey O'Neill, and that was just not a good look at all in my eyes. Lisboa is on like a 5-fight winning streak, and I believe that she'll get this one done by decision. Now we move on. Yadir Del Valle versus Connor Matthews. I'm going to go with Yadir Del Valle. He's undefeated, had pretty good career in the regional scene, and Connor Matthews has just got KO in his last 2 fights. We have not seen Yadir Del Valle against the best competition, but this fight just seems to me like a layup for him to start his UFC career. He's kind of a decision merchant though, and the odds are heavily in his favor. I personally would not bet on this fight unless it's in the parlay. It's just not worth it. Well, moving on to the next. We have Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. This one I'm still pretty on the fence about, but I think I'm going to go with Thiago Moises. Everyone brings up the fight between Jared Gordon and Paddy Pimblett, considering how the judges robbed Gordon blind in the decision. However, I'm pretty sure Paddy Pimblett broke his foot in that fight, which is most likely why Gordon was able to perform so well against him. On top of that, Thiago Moises have been training with the Fighting Nerds, even though no one really talks about it or mentions it, maybe just because he loses a lot of the fights. Anyways, he's a decent fighter and has faced killers in the lightweight division, including like the likes of Islam Makhachev, Benoit Saint-Denis, Beneil Dariush, and so on. I'm going to go with Moises by decision. For the next fight, we have Gabe Green versus Matheus Camilo. I'm going to go with Matheus Camilo in this fight. Gabe Green was a former welterweight, now moving back down to lightweight, and him being chinned in his last fight is just not a good sign to me. I think the weight cut is going to drain him, therefore Matheus Camilo will get the win. Camilo's on a 6-fight winning streak on the regional scene, which doesn't necessarily mean too much, but he does have pretty decent skills, and I don't think Gabe Green is really UFC level. So if Camilo loses this fight, it just means he does not belong in the UFC at all. This fight should end in a finish. Now we're finally done with the prelims. Moving on to the main card. We have Malquizel Costa versus Julian Erosa. I'm actually going with Julian Erosa to win this fight. I think Malquizel Costa is a bit overrated. He has pretty good grappling, but I don't think it's as dangerous as everyone else makes it seem to be. Even though they are both on a 3-fight winning streak, I believe And Julian Rosas' last fight was literally against Darren Elkins, who fought like someone's grandfather with dementia. I still think Julian Rosas is going to get this one done as the second underdog pick for this fight card. He probably gets done by decision. Or maybe finish, actually. They both come to fight. I would say go with this one by finish. Anyways, next. We have Dustin Stoltzfus versus Nursultan Ruziboev. I'm going with Nursultan Ruziboev to win this fight. I think Ruziboev is much better at 185, and he actually has pretty good wins in the middleweight division. He's huge even for middleweight. Still have no idea how he ever made welterweight. He literally was like twice as big as Joaquin Buckley, and Buckley is huge. Anyways, sorry. Ruziboev is much more dangerous as a striker, and he also has more power and the size advantage. And he is also a crazy finisher. He finished 33 out of 35 wins in his mixed martial arts career. And I think Ruziboev should get this one done pretty easily. He should be able to finish Dustin Stoltzfus. Moving on. Sadiq Youssef versus Myron Santos. I'm going to go with Myron Santos. Even though he definitely robbed Francis Marshall in his last fight. Arguably... Anyways. I think he still beats Sadiq Youssef since I just don't really rate him. I do think this fight is going to be close, though, with Myron Santos scraping by a decision. Next, we have the co-main event. Paul Craig is back at light heavyweight, and he will be facing Rodolfo Bellato. I'm going to have to go with Rodolfo Bellato on this one. Paul Craig just seems to have a disease where he can only beat championship-level fighters and loses to every other jobbers that's barely ranked in a division. On top of that, Paul Craig is up there in age, as well as he's not particularly big light heavyweight. I think Rodolfo Bellato should get this one done. Now, finally, the main event. Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. It's sad, man. I'm going to have to go with Michael Morales. Even though in hindsight, people would say Burns' losses recently was not so bad, considering JDM just became the champion and Sean Brady just dominated Leon Edwards. However, I think it's shown in the Sean Brady fight. It just seems like Burns just doesn't have it anymore, man. I feel like he lost a dog in him. He was just accepting bottom positions. His shots look very slow. I feel like he gassed out very quickly. Burns used to get away with just spamming overhands because of his power and athleticism, but I think he lost a lot of that, mostly due to age and damage taken. I also feel like he has taken too much damage in the JDM fight, considering that fight was just stopped very late. But Michael Morales is very dangerous. He's undefeated, powerful, and super athletic. He's also pretty good everywhere. He has good skills in the feet and on the ground. That's also not mentioned that there's a 13-year age gap between the fighters, with Burns pushing 40. I think Morales should just get this one done by a finish or dominating decision. Well, that's it for this Apex Fight Night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Gamble responsibly, and I hope y'all don't lose money because of me. Peace!